Welcome to the Stars Podcast. What's new at Stars? On today's episode, a look at the 23-24 show season with the Stars Theater Team. Introducing your theater team at Stars, we have Miss Lick, Miss Strong, Miss Ritter, and Mr. Dobbins back.
I'm great at this.
Sorry, I just wanted some stuff for the uncut version.
Is this being recorded?
It is now.
Hi.
All right, so on today's
We gotta
podcast.
have more space than that.
No.
It's too close.
I think the listeners need to know that we enjoy each other's company.
That is true.
So, yeah.
Today.
Otherwise, we wouldn't still be here. I'll cut that out. Okay. So, on today's podcast, I have the theater department. I have Miss Lick, and you guys can, when we talk a little, you can tell us your actual position, okay?
Okay.
Because I don't want to say it out loud and get that wrong. We have Miss Strong, we have Miss Ritter, and Mr. D, or Mr. Dobbins back. So, so we're just going to talk a little bit about background information, just so you can know a little bit more about each person, and then some about the upcoming year here at Stars as far as the theater goes. So, who wants to start?
I can start.
Everybody looked kind of scared. when
I
just
know,
said
yeah.
that, so this is Miss Lick.
Yeah, and I'm the artistic director, which really just means I do a lot of scheduling and teach theater. That's really what
Do a lot
my
of
job is.
directing.
Yeah, I mean, in
Schedules
theater,
and-
yeah.
and theater
Scheduling and
and-
directing,
yeah.
that's it right
Yeah.
there. Coordinating.
And also take care of electives and everything for
Mhm.
all of
Yeah, I mean, that just kind of came on in the last couple of years, but it's been nice because I can see where people need to go, and because all the arts classes are so intertwined, it's nice to be able to schedule them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how long have you been here? I think the second or third year I was here is when you came.
Yeah,
So-
I would say 10 or 11 years.
Yeah.
It all runs together after a while, but it's been
Yeah.
at least that long.
And you started out in first grade, right?
Here, yes.
Yeah.
My career, I started out in 8th grade math and social studies. Yeah. Yep, and then I taught 8th grade and 7th grade and 6th grade English and social studies, and now I'm back
And
here.
theater at the same time. And,
Yeah, yep. Because that's how it used to work. You taught a core class
Yes,
and
you
an
did.
elective.
Yeah. It was kind of crazy.
Mhm.
So it is nice to be able to actually focus.
Yeah,
on.
I'll take scheduling any day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And are you originally from North Carolina or?
No. Well, I was born in Las Vegas. Fun fact.
Sweet, yeah, I didn't know that.
My dad was in the Air Force, so we traveled a lot, and then I mostly grew up in Michigan.
Okay.
And then they weren't hiring teachers there at that time, so my mom moved down here, and so then I just came down after.
Okay.
Yep, I literally put in an application to every opening in North Carolina, and somehow ended up in Moore County.
Well, they tend to have a lot of openings.
Yep.
So. Don't know why, but we'll
Yep.
leave it at that. So, okay. Miss Strong, would you like to go next?
Sure.
Okay. So, how long have you been here at Stars?
This is my 5th year in North Carolina and my 5th year at Stars. The beginning of my 5th year here, I have been corrected a couple of times. This will be my 5th year.
Sorry, I will not correct you.
It's okay.
I make it a habit of not correcting.
It is my spouse that is correcting me. Just counting the days.
Oh, you learn to not do that the longer you're married. So. We'll see. Anyway, now you started out at Stars in 2nd grade. Is
I
that
did.
right? Okay. Why would you do that?
I-
I'm just kidding. I started out 2nd grade too. And it's
Yeah, that was the only position. I Googled
Right.
theater and a 100-mile radius from Fort Bragg.
Yeah, and you got Stars.
Mm-hmm.
She's my
That's a fun
favorite
fact.
introductory story of all time because she was here to teach 2nd grade. I'm at back to school, like, summer just got over.
Yep.
The meeting just got over where Wes is like, great job, guys. It's going to be a great year. She walks up with so much intensity, puts her hand in my face and goes, hello, I'm Kina Strong, and rattles off her entire resume. And I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
nice to meet
I
you.
think she had practiced that a couple
I took a
times.
class on elevator speeches.
It
Oh,
was
nice.
an impressive
Okay.
elevator speech. Look at her now, though.
Do you remember it? Can
What
you,
I said.
Can you do that real quick?
It's
Your
been
elevator?
different.
Okay.
I could.
Okay.
She could probably.
I'm sure she could.
Mm-hmm.
Although she's not practicing because she's not going anywhere, so she doesn't need a
Sure.
resume.
No.
right.
And I don't tell anybody anything. This podcast is going to be really boring.
Stop.
We'll see.
How many years have you been here? I don't know. How many years have I been here? What do you teach? I don't know. What do I teach?
Well, that's a legitimate question.
Yeah,
so
That's true.
because it changes.
Uh,
you know.
legitimate
what are you teaching this year? You have several
She's the
different.
coolest.
In the
Classes.
2023-2024
cool
school
classes
year,
this year.
yeah, I teach kindergarten musical theater, 2nd grade visual arts, 3rd grade dance, 5th and 6th grade news media, 5th and 6th grade future cities, part of 5th and 6th grade musical show production, 5th and 6th grade in the tech booth, 7th and 8th grade musical show production, 7th and 8th grade acting 2, 7th and 8th grade competitive theater.
I think you need some more preps to do.
I did
We
help.
share some of them.
Yeah, I did help prep kindergarten technical theater
That's
as
true.
well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's a lot. That seems like fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you also do some theater like locally too, right? Not at
do.
Stars.
Yes.
So you've done
I
some
have-
recent shows with Encore.
Yes, I have written plays for them and directed and acted there.
Cool. And you guys have also written some stuff for our school too, which we'll get into. in a
Yeah,
bit.
I'm
pretty
so
excited about
jazzed
that. Yeah.
to talk about that.
Because you actually still have some of the lyrics of the song up that I'm pretty excited about. The horse
Oh, I
song.
wondered what that
Hey,
was.
we got Rooster Song and the Duck Song are tied right now. We can talk. We don't. I'm not going to get sidetracked.
Okay,
We
we'll
can
come back to
dedicate
it.
a whole segment
We'll
to
come back
it.
to it. Don't tell too much though. We have to save some for the imagination. Okay. All right. Do you want to add anything else to your illustrious career here so far?
I also teach aerial silks.
That's right. And you taught
get to
Mr.
see
D
those
how
on
to
stage
spin
this year.
plates on his
Mr. D
nose
is
today.
a plate spinning
That's right.
prodigy.
I wish
When
we
did
had
you teach him?
That's
This
this
today.
morning.
She
Yeah.
didn't even teach him. This made me so mad.
Didn't you
I
have-
spent 5
didn't you
minutes
have
trying to
to?
spin this plate, and he goes, "Oh, like this? Let me put it on my nose."
Stop! Are you serious?
Yeah, we really need video of that.
And then
love
Jonathan
our
guessed. He said, "What'd you do? Stick it on your nose?" And Alan went, "You know, I did."
Yeah, I just see like something Alan would do, you know?
That is amazing.
So, yeah, we need video of that. We'll have to do that one day.
Mhm.
So,
And you still can't spin the plate.
after Rebecca
No.
figures it out.
She's
No.
not tried enough. It's
I tried
fine.
less than Alan.
That everybody is different. You
Some
learn
people are
things
just
at
have a
different
natural,
paces.
you know.
I can't play a musical instrument, but I can spin a plate. See, different.
Okay, tell us what you do.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So, Miss Ritter.
I don't spin plates
That's okay.
yet.
Yeah,
Yet.
that's true.
I'll say
Growth
that.
mindset.
You might have an elective next year. So,
Yeah.
don't get too good at it. They'll make you teach
Some
people.
kid's gonna be
go
like, I heard there was
crazy
a
and
plate
do
spinning
tightrope
elective, and I just
Uh-huh.
didn't see it.
I can tell
some
you one
parents
kid
will be
that
super
will be.
excited. Okay, so I just now remembered that you're Miss Ritter because I still call you Miss Lee. I'm sorry
Yes,
about
it's all good.
So-
I'll answer to either.
that. That switched last year, correct?
It did.
Okay.
Yes.
How many years have you been here at Stars?
I am going into my 5th year at Stars as well.
Ooh.
Hope I said
We got
that.
here at the same time.
And you have a classroom now, whereas you started out on a cart in a closet.
I started out on a cart in a closet.
I mean,
I'm
was
loving
it a
it now.
closet?
It
It was my classroom, so I would
It
like
wa-
to not say it was a
well,
closet.
he was referring to this little end thing where my file
Where she
cabinets
stationed
were.
Oh,
her
okay,
cart.
fair
Yeah.
enough. Okay.
Yes, so
Where
yes,
her
a cart in a
cart-
closet, but I did.
Sorry.
Miss Lick was kind enough to share the tiniest room in the school that she had with me as well. So, yes, so I started out. I'm the orchestra teacher, but started out with 4 orchestra students, and now I have officially outgrown my classroom.
Right.
So,
Yeah, we had to kick you out of your classroom and move
Yeah.
you into a multi-purpose room, right?
and I was trying to be as inconvenient as possible, and I think I've done that. So.
It's a good goal to have.
I was trying to get so big that it would be inconvenient, and I can officially say I've done that.
No,
so.
that's pretty awesome. Yeah, 'cause- in just like 5 years. So
4, going on 5.
4 years. Oh, excuse me, 4 years.
To be technical
Yeah.
about it.
No, that's,
But yeah, we also do. I also do piano. I did music history, music theory for a while. That might get looped back in at some point,
Mhm.
and we've added our 4th grade violin program. So
Oh, that's
been,
exciting. My son will be excited. Noah loves all
Oh, yeah.
instruments, so he'll be super excited about
He
that.
was rocking it out at the end of last year. So.
We're selling some recorders tonight.
Yes, and our 3rd grade recorder program too. Yeah.
He played that all summer.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm sure
you're
he
so
did.
lucky.
Your
Yeah.
face just shifted a little bit.
You seem really happy about
No, he can actually play songs instead of just blowing really hard and making obnoxious noises. So.
Thank you, Stars and
Yeah.
Mr. D. There
Yes,
you go.
exactly.
Last year we took account of how many parents asked us if they would learn hot cross buns and do they have to take it home?
Yes.
So
they
I'm
do.
excited to see how many we will have say that tonight.
No, I think it's really cool. They get to learn to play an instrument.
I agree.
Some people go their whole life and can't play an
cannot.
instrument.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of got him into wanting to learn instruments because then he wanted a guitar for Christmas and he's taking.
Hey, that was the goal.
Yeah, he's taking
Supposed to
piano
be
lessons with Mr. D.
The
so he's
pathway
like,
instrument, right?
Yeah. That's right.
A gateway.
The
A gateway instrument.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what the recorder is.
Yeah.
Watch out, they'll get addicted now.
Or do, be me, whatever. You know.
Okay.
She also, her and Mr. D both help with the musicals as well because they serve as our chorus department. So they're looped into our musicals, helping
Right.
teach the vocals and the lyrics for all of that.
Right. So when you come and see our shows and things, the fact that they're singing on key and at the right time is because of you guys.
Yeah, and if they're
Well,
not, it's not their fault.
It's not
right?
your fault.
It's something
That's right.
entirely.
You can
I
only,
will say though, we do have really motivated kids who
Yeah.
run those programs, so they come in knowing a lot of it. It's really just kind of helping them shape and do the higher level musical
Right.
stuff with it more than anything else.
Singing the vocal part you're actually supposed to sing and not the one you heard on the CD.
That
Yeah.
one, enunciating, you know,
Yeah.
all those fun things. So it's
Yeah.
it's fun. It's good.
thank you. All right. So, Mr. D,
Yes.
I know you were here at Stars before I got here. So, how many
I
years?
think it's 14.
14. Yeah.
14 years.
Wow.
And when I came, you were on a cart and went to every classroom.
I was on a cart.
You had to be miserable.
I just
But-
parked it in the Renaissance room.
Uh-huh.
Oh
Just
my
rolled it
That's
around.
right.
It's
all
the rite
good.
of passage.
It's all good. Back when class sizes were like 12.
Yes, because my first year I had 12, and I felt like there was no room in the classroom. And now there's a
More
lot
than 12, yeah.
More than 12, yeah. So,
It's,
yeah, and you did, at that point you did theater as well,
I
right?
did theater.
and music.
It was interesting when they hired me. I'll never forget because I was doing music. I was hired to teach music.
Right.
And they said, "Okay, good. I think this is going to work." I was happy. They were happy. And I was walking out the door. They said, "Oh, by the way, you need to direct the third grade musical." And I had never directed
Surprise.
a show.
Yeah.
And the music side I was good with.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's been great. It's
I never
I've
would have
learned a
guessed
lot.
that.
What show was it?
We did The Wizard of Oz.
Cute.
Yep.
Solid choice.
And I remember building a big house out of cardboard and had a student inside spinning as fast as they could.
I love that.
So the house was spinning.
Yeah,
This
that's
was in
awesome.
the Renaissance room.
Yeah.
Yep.
And all the parents, we would all squeeze in.
Yeah, we used to be able to do that.
Yeah.
It was
Not
still
anymore.
tight, but it was doable. Yeah. Well, I guess that's a good problem to have too. A problem, but it's a good problem.
Yeah.
to have.
I've learned a lot. It's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And where were you from originally?
Originally West Virginia.
Yeah. And you didn't teach your whole career, right?
No,
What did
I
you start out?
taught 84 to 88.
Yeah.
And thought that was good.
You thought that was enough, right? Yeah.
Actually, went back to school.
Yeah.
And thought I wanted, to write and produce music,
Yeah.
which is good. And but then I spent 15 years in insurance.
Yeah.
So then after that, moved back to North Carolina and been teaching for 14 years. So.
Cool. That's awesome. All right. So this year, what are the classes you're teaching?
I am teaching kindergarten, second grade, and that will be mainly music.
Yeah.
Teaching them the music for the musicals.
Okay.
Third grade, recorder. Fourth grade, we'll be teaching the music for the musicals.
Mhm.
And then I work with fifth, sixth show production, 5/6 wind band, and 7/8 band and 7/8 guitar.
Okay.
All the things.
Yeah, all the
time.
things.
Yeah, yeah.
Kindergarten all the way through 8. That's
My
fun.
I love being on the same hallway as him because when all the kids are coming into the classroom, never fails. He's like playing a guitar.
Uh-huh.
I can hear the piano started
Yeah.
already when the kids are coming in. It's
Yeah.
it's just such a cool environment to like
I always
be
like
part
I
of.
always like during the percussion elective because I get to hear the
Well, that too.
get
You
to
don't
hear
hear
the,
that, you
the beat,
feel
the
it.
back. You
Yeah.
do feel it.
Yeah.
I did think
Second
someone was
grade,
knocking on my
Yeah.
door that one
Over,
time.
so it's going through Miss Hill's room.
I more feel it as opposed to hearing it.
Miss
but-
Hill
Yeah.
hears it.
Yeah,
she
Who's
definitely
right
does.
next door to mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She needs some soundproofing.
She
for
really
sure.
does.
Because from what I can tell, it's always on beat. So.
Well.
That's Mr. T. That's
That,
why.
oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we had a percussion class.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
It's loud.
I mean, it's cool that they have that though. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Oh, that's
neat. They did some neat stuff at the Christmas concert too.
Yeah, they did great.
Yeah, they did a good job with that.
Yeah, we cycle
So-
that one in and out kind of where it fits. If he has an extra space in 5 and 6, then we add it
Right.
in. But the band is growing, so we haven't really had the
Yeah,
space
we-
for it.
That's a good thing too.
Yeah.
Band
Yep.
in,
We'll incorporate some percussion into the band.
Yeah.
We'll be,
Oh, cool. Okay.
because we have the stuff.
Yeah.
All in.
Cool. So let's talk about some of our shows coming this year, if you guys don't mind sharing a little bit.
When you post in this podcast episode.
I'm fine with sharing because they're not going to listen to it. And
I will
so
say-
then if they do, bonus for
Can
them.
I do
Why
a
not?
student shout out real fast?
Yeah, sure.
And we can start with announcing the 7th and 8th
Absolutely.
grade show?
Yeah, go ahead.
So my friend Haley in 7th and 8th grade came. I've been hearing that she knew what show it was, and I thought she was being sneaky because I heard she knew what show it was, 7th and 8th grade musical, because she walked up to Miss
Returning
Jones.
Haley?
Yes.
Okay.
Walked up to Miss Jones and said, "Are you concerned about the lack of dance in this show?" And I thought that's a sneaky way to get her to talk about the show. And not
That
know.
is a smart
And I was
question.
like, that's
Yeah.
very smart. Well, then I heard she really knows it. No, she knows it. She knows it. So I saw her last night at open house and I said, "Tell me what this musical is." And she said, "Well, Miss Lick said this," and she lists all this criteria that's totally non-specific. And she said, "Yeah, and I think it's Once Upon a Mattress." And I went, "Well, you are right." And she freaked out. I said, I'm
Yeah.
not going to lie to you.
Right.
You're this close to the whole deal,
Right.
and you didn't just go and bother somebody. You
figured it
researched
out.
That is
Yeah.
why I do that. Like,
Yeah.
I
That's
will
cool.
give enough information that if you truly care, you can look it up
Yeah.
over the summer and figure it out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the 7th and 8th grade musical would be
Once Upon a Mattress. Yes.
Okay.
Solid show. Carol Burnett was in both movies.
Yeah.
Like,
Carol Burnett was originally Princess Winifred,
Yeah.
and then she played the evil queen in the filmed production, and then Tracy Ullman played Winifred in the film, and Sarah Jessica Parker actually did the revival of the role of Winifred on Broadway, which you wouldn't think Sarah Jessica Parker could sing, or I wouldn't think that, but she can.
yeah, it's a great musical. Story of
Yeah.
Princess and the
Yeah.
Pea.
And we've done that before, but it's been like
It's been a while.
8 or 9
so a rising college freshman was a 5th grader last time we
Right.
did it, if that helps put it.
yeah.
into
So yeah, it's
perspective.
been several years
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that'll be a fun show to do.
Yes.
I bet the kids will really like that one too.
It's got great dance opportunities, good, you always want them to have something active to do in the ensemble.
Yeah.
It's got good spots for that, and it's got multiple parts that have solos and some nice chunky
Yeah.
songs.
I think you guys always do a good job of picking shows that fit our students well, too.
Thank you.
So,
We try really hard. Like, a lot
Yeah.
of work goes into it. We don't just say, "I like this one, let's do it." Like,
Yeah.
we really try to look at not specific students, but the group as a whole. Like, where are our strengths? Is this a heavy dance year? Is this a heavy
Right.
vocal year?
Yeah.
Where does that
Or do we have
fall?
good movers?
Right, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And even as far as, do you have good male vocals
Right.
or stronger female
Yes.
vocals?
Yeah, we consider that a lot because inevitably, because you use what you have, you are going to cast females as males, but we try very hard to be deliberate about what kind of roles we're doing that with.
Right.
Because our goal for them is to learn how to be actors, and I think it's challenging, right? Putting a 5th grader or 6th or 7th grader or an 8th grader in a position to be in a romantic scene at all because they're so uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, they were
part
pretty
of their
awkward.
personal
Yeah.
lives,
Right.
and they don't get into that in depth at all. But you just want to make sure that they're around people they feel safe with, and it just kind of becomes a very delicate balance when you're picking thematic shows for them. So that's something
Yeah.
to think about.
Do we know, you don't have to do a specific date, but like around,
Their show is January 21st and 22nd. Did I say that right?
okay. So
No, that's wrong. It's 25th and 26th.
right.
It's
So
January
after
25th
Christmas
and
break,
26th.
they'll,
Yeah.
Yes.
There's no school on the 26th, but we still have a show
Okay.
that evening.
Is that going to be at Sandhills
Yes.
Yes.
Community College?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I thought I'd give them a plug too. So
Thank you. BPAC.
yeah, CPAC.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
It's 25th and 26th? Okay.
Okay. So that's 7th and 8th. Is that all they're doing? Is the musical, or are they doing a play? Or...
That class will do the musical, and then there's a different, 2 separate classes. So there's competitive theater, and
Uh-huh.
they actually, day 1 audition because their competition is not set by us, it's set by the North Carolina Junior Thespians, the honor society that we're part of. So their competition is October 21st. And
that's coming up.
Yeah, so
soon.
we have to really like
We have
get
9
going.
weeks before
Okay.
that.
Yeah, so they're doing Shuttersome Tales of Poe, so they're doing 3 different
Oh,
Edgar Allan Poe
okay.
stories.
Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be neat.
That's going to be an awesome ensemble
Yeah.
show. It's going to be almost like a flock of crows in the background,
Yeah.
like surrounding the story.
Well, it's perfect for your time of year too. It's
Yeah,
like
we're
That's what
actually
we
Halloween.
doing it at
Yeah.
Fall Festival too.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'd be
that's our
cool.
parent preview, so
Yeah.
if you want to catch it, you can come see it there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a rehearsal, if anybody.
That's, yeah,
asks.
well, still
a
yeah.
preview rehearsal.
That would
Yes.
be neat. We haven't done anything like that before at
I
Fall
think it's a
Fest,
good
so,
opportunity
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be
for
fun.
sure.
And everybody will already be there. They won't be able to see them at the competition.
Right, yeah,
So-
that's not open to the
They
public.
could
Yeah.
come, but you're not going to want to pay the ticket prices because going to competition
Yeah.
for an adult costs like $50 something.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be
It's
a lot
more
cheaper to
just
come to Fall
chaperones.
Fest.
Yeah.
Right, sure.
And you have food trucks there, so it's
Right.
convenient.
Yeah, there you go.
We have not picked the spring play for 7th and 8th grade yet, but
Okay,
we're
but they will do one. in the
Yeah,
spring.
we've
So we actually are doing 2 because we are that's
For
where we like
student
to that's where we like to
directors,
feature our
Okay.
student directors. So Isabella Bird is going to be a student director, and Riley Orr. They're both going to be student directors, and they're going to do contrasting pieces so that we've got 2 different things going
That'd be
on.
fun. That's a good
they
opportunity.
did very
for our
well
students, too.
directing last year,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, they took the intro to directing course,
Yeah.
did all the things they were supposed to do. They seem really excited
Yeah,
about it.
so they earned it then. That'd
yes,
be-
Yeah.
for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, what about 5th and 6th? What their musical? You don't have to. You don't have to.
I'm
You can
thrilled
tell
about
them.
it because
Okay.
the whole time they're like, the orchestra's huge, the band is taking over, they're spilling out the doors. I'm like, perfect time to do Music Man, right? Because
That's what it
we
is.
could actually
Yeah.
incorporate some student musicians, I
Yeah.
think. I think that'd be a beautiful thing.
That
Even
would
if
be
they
fun.
don't sound great, they could be at the beginning of the show.
I love that.
Like, I think it would just be awesome.
What? No, it's great.
You could have pre-show music played by the band. Like,
Right?
that sounds
Oh,
beautiful.
I think that's great.
I would love
Alan's
that.
like, oh god, I gotta get started.
No, come on. It'd be so cute. 5th
Yeah.
and 6th grade show is not until February 22nd. That's a
Okay.
whole semester to
It'll
get
actually be
somebody.
the 21st and the 22nd,
There you
most
go.
likely.
Done.
Yeah.
We're gonna have 2 per.
Is that also
2.
DPAC?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thrilled about it. I sing that show to my son. I love Marion the Librarian.
Uh-huh.
I love all forms of Harold Hill, particularly Matthew Broderick. Don't sleep on that version of it. Matthew Broderick, Kristen Chenoweth. I stayed up late to watch that on TV when it aired on TV.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, how old were you?
I don't want to know how old I was.
She's
I was
3.
living in Longboat
Probably,
Key.
yeah.
I was living in Longboat Key, so I was under 9. But I love that. I've
Yeah.
seen all versions of it. Like, it's my jam. I'm sure Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster do fine. Haven't seen that
Oh
yet.
no! I hope they don't listen to this. Not that they would,
I
but that is hysterical.
Feel like
They do
Sutton
fine.
Foster
They
does
do
not
fine.
need approval.
You said
from
Hugh
me.
Jackman?
Hugh Jackman and Sutton
Oh, I
Foster
love
in
him,
their
though.
She
revival
goes,
of
they
that.
do fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one
They're
yet.
satisfactory.
Yeah. Adept at this.
Well, they could do better, but
It's
he is
just-
Wolverine, so we'll
You
give
know,
him that.
I've definitely heard other people be like, "Oh, Music Man was a couple years ago," and I'm thinking
Yeah.
the same thing. Like, well, again, you have a perfect opportunity to incorporate student musicians, which
Yeah.
is a great. You know, you have like a concert musician, and you have more like the rock avenue, like live music, and then you have people who are playing in the pit, and then you
Yeah.
also have people who do play on stage in shows.
Right.
So it's not just like not someone who's playing in the pit for a musical, but you have shows like Rent where Roger's playing his guitar on stage live.
Yeah.
So I think that is totally valid time to do that. I think that we have some really, like you were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
like the just general washes. We have some really talented boys coming up into
Yeah.
5th and 6th
Yeah,
grade.
Music Man is fun. We did that, but it was with 3rd grade, right?
Yeah, and it's been a while.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool to see the older kids do that. I
Yes.
think that'll
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
just revived on Broadway not too long
Yeah.
ago, like I was saying. So I think it's a really timely
Even
choice.
then though, I remember Natalie coming home and I forget what song it was. There was one song that she kept singing.
I'm sure it was
Gary and
Shapoopy.
Deanna.
It was Shapoopy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
what it was.
Miss
Yep.
Hill said, "Is that the Shapoopy song?"
That is the Shapoopy song. Yeah.
Yeah.
She loved that. Noah wasn't old enough, or he would have loved it because they had the word poop in it.
That's
so.
true.
They sang
Yeah.
that song on Family Guy.
That is also true.
A
Yes.
long
I
time
saw
ago.
that episode on Family Guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't get this in every podcast, like
No,
go from
can't.
Shapoopy to Family Guy to like
Right?
education.
Wolverine.
for sure.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman. That's
There
for
you
sure.
go.
Okay, so that's 5th and 6th.
Yeah,
Is
3rd
that-
and 4th grade.
Oh, before we do
I'm
that,
sorry.
how do the 5th and 6th, 7th, 8th graders get into those shows? Because there's a I know there's
Sign
a,
up.
Right, there's a process, and they
Yeah, I mean, they really just sign up for the class, and everybody
Yeah.
who signs up is in the musical,
Yeah.
which is kind of a cool thing because if you were to do this really anywhere else,
Yeah.
you have to go through an audition process
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Right.
Even in generic public school, whatever public school, their programs are after school. They have to audition, and they don't take everyone
Yeah.
because they can't.
It's
got-
not a class, certainly.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys still do an audition process, but
Yeah,
but
so in the-
everyone is in.
Yeah, in the first few weeks, we go through and we teach them a little bit of all of the material they need: singing, dancing, acting, and then we have them go through an audition process so that we can kind of put them in the spot where they're going to grow the most. But right,
Yeah.
like if they have no
Yes.
experience and they're not ready, we can put them in a smaller place so that they can get some time on stage. If they've done this for a while, they are ready. They can
Yeah.
handle those larger roles. But we really, and I tell them that too. Like, look around. One person is going to be the title character,
Yeah.
and I am really, truly, genuinely sorry that it cannot be all of you.
Right. Well, I
I-
think that's realistic, and it's also important to realize that in life,
Right.
In
Yes.
general, is that-
Right.
yeah.
Well, and you have people who, like, when their job is to be an actor, that's their whole thing. You have swing roles, so you'll be
Yeah.
in the ensemble,
Mhm.
but if, you know, somebody, so Rent, again, as an example, there are characters that pop in, they sing various ensemble roles, and there's this guy that has a little squeegee, and he sticks the squeegee up in the air and sings some line, and he just is the squeegee guy, like, repeats this thing over and over again. But when Roger gets sick, and that guy's not there, he swings into Roger's part, and
Yeah.
he's the lead in the show all of a sudden. But you've got to know the whole show. So sometimes just being, and we've had that since I've been here, you know, someone's just really rocking it in the ensemble, and then somebody gets sick, like particularly with COVID where we were not allowed to have them.
Yep.
They get sick, and we see you really trying, you
Yeah.
get bumped up. And I think that
That
when-
did happen.
It
That
did happen not
100%
long ago,
happened.
right? Like
Yeah.
last year?
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
she had to learn a part in 3
Yeah.
hours, but because she'd been paying attention, she was capable
She
of
was
doing
able to
that.
do it,
Yeah. I think that it becomes tricky because you view yourself. Some people are overly confident. Some people are underconfident. Some people have a really good perception of their abilities, and some people don't. And there is something to be said about being confident, whatever ability level you are at, but you have to have an awareness of where you fit into a group, because there are some places where I am the most talented actress in the room, and there are some places where I am not.
Yeah. This is
And
a
I
good chance to
recognize
figure that out for them
Yeah.
at a young age.
Because I think the most frequent criticism comes from, someone will say favoritism, but it is really looking at a group of 70 people. And I think when you look at your own child, like my son copied the Star Trek dancers on TV, and that was like amazing. He's probably the most talented 18-month-old dancer in the planet because he's my son. And I don't, you know, he's 18 months old, so I've never had to have him audition for anything. But I think that when
It's
you
really
see
unfortunate.
someone, yeah, I know. When you see someone you really care about going through this process that can be very emotional, auditioning for a show, having your expectations not necessarily being met or
Yeah.
being met, and then having to reconcile those
Right.
means
Well,
for you.
disappointment's a part of life.
Yes.
That's something that
Yeah.
with Natalie, she's auditioned. She's went through that process
Mm-hmm.
several times, and she wasn't necessarily thrilled each time. But we had that conversation. It's like it's okay to be disappointed. That's part of life.
But let me jump
Like,
in too.
yeah.
In addition to that, there's also, I've heard you guys talk, and we've talked before about like where can we put kids where they will grow the most.
Yeah.
So it's not there is disappointment for sure, but it's not just that. It's
Yeah.
also
It's a good learning opportunity.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
are you going to be
And we
better
really
after this?
do sit with every name. It's
Yeah.
not like I've worked places where you have your leads and then you go group A, group B, group C, and you maybe go back through at the end to double check that everyone's name made it on the cast list, but we will sit and make sure every kid is somewhere like specific that we have thought out for
And
them.
if I somehow accidentally miss someone on a cast list, I feel horrible.
Yeah.
The parents call me out, and I'm like, I feel worse than you are making
Right.
me feel right now. Like, just pointing it out to
Yeah.
me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to feel like that. The other thing is, we have these explicit conversations with the kids in every casting situation.
Yeah.
What we're talking about, dealing with disappointment, all of that. Like, it's not just learning a musical in these classes. We have these conversations with them.
Yeah.
We talk about how to approach the cast list, whether you are cast in the role you want or not. We always go over that.
Right.
Yeah, it is a hard thing because I directed The Wizard of Oz once, Alan, and in my version of The Wizard of Oz, the script that I was given at a summer camp that I directed, there were narrators, and all the narrators were Color of the Rainbow, and there was this very confident girl, but she could not read. She was functionally illiterate, and granted, she was like 7, so.
But
you know,
still, you should
Yeah.
be able
she's
to read
gonna
at
catch
some
up,
point,
but
yeah.
it's just she could not read.
Yeah.
So Dorothy, she was not. She was never going to be Dorothy because that level of literacy, which is something you do have to consider at some point.
Yeah, that's
you know,
important. You can't remember your lines
yeah,
if you can't read them.
it is Maslow's hierarchy, right?
Yeah.
It is just really That is a prerequisite skill, unfortunately. And we did this show in maybe a week or two.
Yeah.
So it's even more important in that case. So she wanted to be Dorothy so badly. And I saw all this effort in this little girl, and I saw her wanting something, a place to grow, right? And I gave her Purple, the narrator. She'd have 6 lines, which seemed like a stretch for her based on not being able to read one line at auditions. And as they got their parts, I said, I want you to listen to the part you get, and then we're going to sit, and you can go outside or you can go around the room, and you can have whatever feelings you're going to have. What I don't want to happen is somebody to get super excited and for someone to say, oh, I hate this part, because the part you hate might be someone's dream spot.
Right.
And the part that you were so excited might really just drive the knife in deeper for the kid that didn't get that part. And they got their minute, and some people were crying and some people were really happy, and this little girl sitting at the top just blank, and I walked up to her and she said, I am so much more than Purple. And I thought, yeah, of course you are. But right now, Purple's where you are. You are just Purple right now. And that's okay, because I'm sure that, and it did help. She knew all of her 6 lines.
Right.
She read them over and over and over again, but she was just not ready to be Dorothy.
It's a stepping stone.
Yeah.
And one thing I like about our school is if they don't have lines at all, like if they're a dancer, they'll be on stage as much as anyone else.
Yeah, they're all
sometimes.
active,
Yeah.
every single one.
Yeah. So
Especially in the younger grades, we literally go back to scheduling, we literally map it out to make sure that the classes are getting an even amount of time on stage as possible.
And we're doing shows that are meant to have a cast of maybe 20.
Oh, yeah. And our casts are at least 100.
well, like with your summer show, there were kids that didn't have lines at all, but they were on there as much as leads because there was so much dancing in that show.
That snow chorus did not say a single word. They sang.
Yes.
But they were moving and dancing,
Right, they
and
were
they
there,
were on.
and they had just as much to remember with their so that's good. And it's at a other school. Typically, you would learn these types of lessons through sports and things like that.
Right.
But at our school, you get a good opportunity to learn it through the arts, and I think that's kind of cool.
I think for these kids, it's better. That's where their heart is, so they're going to learn it there. I mean, they're not athletes. They're just not.
Yeah.
The dancers could be considered athletes, but they're not, and so
not
they're
all of
learning
them.
it in a way that makes sense to them.
Sure. Yeah, and it's good they have that opportunity. So cool. So that was 5th and 6th grade, I think.
Yes.
And life lessons.
Okay.
Yes.
And life lessons. Just so.
3rd and 4th?
what's that? Yeah, 3rd and 4th.
3rd and 4th grade. Miss Strong has been trying to get me to do this show for years, and I'm like, why?
Because it's got cross-curricular connections you can't beat.
Well, that
Yeah.
sounds fancy.
it's Flat Stanley.
Oh, cool. Flat
Musical
Stanley,
adventures of
Yeah.
Flat Stanley.
That'll be fun. I like Flat
Oh,
Stanley.
yeah. For people who haven't read Flat Stanley, which is apparently more than I would have thought, Flat Stanley is a little boy that is smushed by a bulletin board and gets so flat he can be mailed around the world. It's so
Yeah, we've had classes that have done that in the past, too.
I did it
Yeah.
during COVID with my 2nd graders. I
Yeah.
sent them all Flat Stanley to send to somebody else.
Right. That was good. That was a good opportunity to do that.
Thank you.
Might be the only good thing that came out of COVID.
I tried. Yeah. Flat
Okay.
Stanley
So that
is
one.
cute.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. I just
Okay.
love it.
Okay, so when will that
That one
take
will
place?
have 2 different shows. They are October.
November 2nd and 3rd.
There we go.
I know it's
November
true.
2nd and 3rd.
All right.
The rehearsals start in October. That's why.
Is that in BPAC as well?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So that'll be 2 completely separate casts because
Yep.
that's a lot of kids in one show.
Right.
So, and it's still a lot of kids in one show.
We will have approximately 200 3rd and 4th graders, so each cast will be about 100,
right
which is
a lot.
wild.
Yep. But it's gonna be great. And
It
there's
would be
2 shows.
great. That'd be awesome. Yeah. So let's talk about tickets real quick. We can come back to it.
Yeah.
Because-
StarsCharter.booktix.com.
Right, and you have to get those tickets ahead of time. You don't.
Yeah.
You
this
actually
year
have to,
Yes, you do
because
not
they are
come-
not being sold at all in person.
Right,
this
so
year.
don't come to the door and think that you're going to be able to buy a ticket,
No.
no matter how much we complain or.
We're just not.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
there were just most of the time we sold out anyway.
Yeah.
And for the 1 or 2, 3 seats that are left over
Yeah.
that are available, it's not worth it. And there's just unfortunately far too many people who think that they can just stand in the back, and that's against fire code. We
It is,
can't let
yeah.
you do that.
So that's an important thing.
Well,
to
and I will say, I have
because we would get
had
in trouble and then
Right,
not be able to
yes.
use the theater.
I have had parents who have reached out to me via email because I end up posting show information on Class Dojo, And they've said things like, my debit card, there was fraud on my debit card, and now I can't use it, and I cannot buy these tickets. Is there any way I can get you cash?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that sort of stuff, as long as that
Yeah,
is
we can
not
work that
happening
out.
the week of the
Right.
show, we absolutely can make
Yeah.
that happen. It's when you call us, and we are currently dancing with third graders at BPAC, and
Yeah.
we can no longer deal with ticket stuff
Right.
then, because we are trying to make sure your kids are supervised and safe and ready to do their show.
Right, so the tickets go on sale 1 month before the first show date.
Right.
Every time I set it up to open. For some reason last year it just defaulted to opening at midnight, which I was like,
It
whatever.
made
I'll
a
just
really
leave
fun
it.
party of parents doing it at midnight.
It was very fascinating because
Yeah.
there were people who would set alarms to wake up to buy tickets first.
Yeah, all the front row ones were gone by like 3 a.m.
Right, so I'm going to try to reset that this year so that it's not like survival of the fittest in the middle
Doing
of
it
the
right
night.
at Carline.
No, God, that was terrible. Anyway, they go on sale 1 full month before the show,
Yeah.
and then you cannot buy them at the door. Absolutely cannot buy them at the door this year.
Well, I mean, if you go to a movie now, you do the same thing.
Yes.
You have to buy it ahead of time. You pick
Right.
your seat. If you go to a concert, there's very few general admission. That's just the way things are now.
We
So-
do have general admission performances, though.
Yeah.
All of our concerts are general admission. The
Right.
kindergarten show is general
And
admission.
we'll talk about those too.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
I mean, general rule of
Yeah.
thumb is if we have to purchase the materials,
Yeah.
you have to buy a ticket.
Yeah.
We
So-
have to report things like how much we are charging
Right.
you for
Yeah.
tickets.
And it's not like we're making a ton of money. We just
No,
it
certainly not.
It enables us to be able to use Sandhills,
Mhm.
Yes.
which
And
is
to
a
provide
great
the costumes
opportunity.
and the sets
Right.
and the things that we need.
Yeah.
for the
Every
production.
single student in a production gets a T-shirt
Mhm.
for the show that they are in. The younger kids, that's part of their costume, but it's a souvenir for all of them
Mhm.
at the end of the show. And
They sign them, they wear them forever until they can't fit in them anymore.
gets paid for at some point. So
Yes.
it goes places.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So buy your tickets ahead of time.
Please.
That's the moral of that story. And there are student discount codes as well, right?
There are, yeah. I don't know what it's going to be this year, but there is a student discount.
We'll put that
code.
out there though, so
Yeah.
they know.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was third and fourth. Now we have second.
Second grade, Schoolhouse Rock Live Junior.
Yes.
I love that
I
show.
love Schoolhouse Rock.
Interplanet Janet, she's a galaxy girl.
Of course, that's the go-to. That's the best song in the
If
whole
she's
show.
on roller skates,
Yeah.
I might sneak
Do
on
you
stage
have
with roller
Conjunction
skates.
Junction in there?
It
Yes,
is,
Okay, 'cause
correct.
that's,
Yeah.
that's my personal favorite.
All right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's got it does not have every Schoolhouse Rock song, but it's got some really good
Yeah.
circulation. Boom, that's a good one.
I think parents will love that. We grew up watching that.
Yeah.
In
Right.
between
It
cartoons
even
on
it even
Saturdays.
plays the intro music
Yeah.
to the show at the beginning.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
Yes, I
That's
love that
cool.
show.
When will that one take place?
In the spring.
In the spring? Okay.
The first and second grade musicals are on March 12th and 14th.
Okay. Those are also
One of those is
BPAC?
each grade. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna do first and second would be on the same night, or is that what
A group of each. Is that what we decided?
is that what we're gonna do?
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really know.
I know we've done it
in
that
the
way in the
past, we've
past,
done
yeah.
half of first, half of second, half of first, half of
Yeah,
second.
okay.
I don't know what we're going to do this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is also in the spring, so we got that Edgar Allan Poe mess to deal with
Right.
next week. So,
So you have plenty of time to work on the.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we are pretty good about getting the information
Yeah.
out ahead of time,
Yes.
so you know you've got 2 dates that you can hold. You know the
Yeah.
week is shot
Yes.
pretty much.
Right.
Don't go anywhere.
And you have a
so.
month to buy tickets, as we just discussed.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's get to kindergarten then. So.
oh, we skipped over first grade.
Oh, did we? I'm
and
sorry.
that's the most important
I'm
one.
so
Just
sorry.
It
kidding.
really is the most important. We can circle back to it. You want to do kinder and go back to first grade?
Yes.
Sure.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Kindergarten's performance opportunity is their holiday program this year.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So they don't have to memorize lines because they're little, and it's their
Yeah.
first time on stage for the most part. So
And they're all super cute on stage too.
yeah, right. And who doesn't want to see little kids in the holidays singing, dancing? What?
I just realized that I was gonna say last year we did holidays around the world, and then I went, and this year
It's holidays around the world.
I don't know what we're doing.
Aren't we doing the same thing?
I hope I have a Chinese dragon that I'd be down to
Yeah,
use
I
again.
love that, and it fits in their social studies curriculum. It's cool for them to
Yeah.
learn. They're into it.
They
so.
Right.
love all of it. They were like the Hanukkah song, Kwanzaa. Like,
I mean, we don't usually recycle stuff. We
Yeah.
talked about how much space we put
Yeah.
between
Yeah, yeah.
musicals.
Yeah.
This is a solid program that makes sense.
It
to
is.
Do with
There's-
well, and
It's
kindergarten is never different. It's the same. It's not the same children usually. So
Right.
it's,
Well,
they're
and
always
also,
brand new.
This is a relatively new thing where we're even having concerts at all. So,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
we're still
True.
building up our
That's
repertoire
very, that's
and
very true. Okay.
working into it. Yeah.
Well, that's fine. So kindergarten would be at what's that first week of December?
It's December 7th, and that
So-
one's actually at Pinecrest.
Okay.
Yeah, at 5:30. 5:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be at Aberdeen freezing and such.
No,
Was
because
not freezing.
we will not be at Aberdeen because Aberdeen is in the process of being purchased officially by a developer, and so we're not sure where they will be in the development situation.
Gotcha.
So we don't want to schedule something if they're knocking down a building actively behind
Right.
it. We don't know what that's going to look
No,
like.
Pinecrest
so.
is good because we know what to expect there, so that's
Right.
good.
Personal plug. The Pinecrest Auditorium is not named after the Confederate general. It is named after my grandfather. Fun fact.
Isn't that great?
So
It is great.
please
yeah.
do not show up and be sad because we are putting your children somewhere where you may or may not think it is appropriate to put them.
A
It is
genuine
absolutely
appropriate.
appropriate.
A genuinely cool guy
He was
Yes.
genuinely cool and an absolutely wonderful man. So yes,
who did
just
a lot for this community.
Oh,
like giving
so
us Rebecca
much.
Ritter.
Yeah.
Goodness.
So
I
much.
know.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, personal plug, a little good general information to have if you're a
Little
more
family
money native
background.
or
I like
something.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Combating misinformation.
All the time,
Really
all the
appreciate
time.
that.
They
That's
tried
what
to
we're here
change it
for.
so many times, and then my dad shows up and he's like, "Hey, by the way, excuse me."
It's not the general.
My dad doesn't sound like that. Excuse me.
That is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've talked to your dad before. He doesn't really sound like that, but
Okay, moving back to first grade,
Sorry.
which is the most exciting of all.
yes.
I'm going to introduce this by
Go
talking
ahead.
about last night.
Please do.
Last
Please do.
night, two of our students, including one former kindergartner, now first grader, was very excited to show me that she got her ears pierced.
Oh.
She came up to me too.
She came up to
Super
me
cute,
last
too.
night,
Yeah.
and I kneeled down next to her so she could show me her earrings. And I said, "I'm not going to teach you this year, and I'm really sad about that. But I am helping write your musical." And she said, "Oh, the duck, the UKUCK." And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "I remember that song, QUACK." And I was in tears.
She was.
almost.
I was watching.
It
this
was
whole,
so
this whole
sweet
exchange.
because we've been talking about doing this musical since
Yeah.
last year, and Mr. D, because he's amazing,
Yeah.
just like bops out songs, and he sent us all a recording of the kids singing the song like that
Yeah.
we had been developing, and it's just like
I know.
Let me
heart melting.
Let me amend that a little bit. The idea of us writing a musical had kind of been floating in the air above our heads for a while, and then finally Miss Strong was like, "We are writing a musical," and Mr. D goes, "All right," and he writes the music. And he brings it like within a day.
No,
Comes up with a theme. Well, we're not finished, but at
I
least
think
come
it's
up with a
awesome
title.
because we do have such a talented staff. It's kind of a shame to not use that.
Duck team.
That's really cool.
They are the duck team. I am not a member
That-
of this duck team.
I'm not either.
It
I have
was
walked
really
in
cool to
and
watch.
seen
Yes.
them. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'd be like, "Where are the three of them?" And you would hear like random animal noises, and
I
then
would.
music.
Well, yeah. I'd walk by and they're like, "What rhymes with?"
Yes. Yeah.
We have
What was
3
it?
syllables and it has to rhyme with happy.
I know.
Like,
It was the horse song. And I forget which one you were talking about.
I don't
And I was like,
remember.
I don't know what rhymes with that, but you guys did a great job. with
Yeah.
it.
So we decided to write a musical about a duck that has arrived at a farm and hears this cow mooing and thinks it is just the most amazing thing because he's not from a farm. He's migrating. So he goes
As
on
they
a little...
do.
Yes, as
Yeah.
they do. Fun fact, science. You're welcome, homeroom teachers. No, that was on all of your curriculum, duck migration. It's really important in North Carolina.
They can just phone it in for the rest of science this year.
He travels around the farm and it meets different groups of animals, which is very deliberate because, as we've said, we really are doing musicals that have core casts of max 20, which is really leads that are 5 people, usually written for adults. So this musical is customized to where it could be 5 adults performing it for children doing a whole show, or it could be 200 children doing it, and there are people who come and do their speaking lines, and then they break into a song, and then the whole group moves off stage, and a new group of children in new costumes come on to make sure that it is something that is streamlined for the exact process that we've been adapting other people's musicals to do for years. Miss Ritter wrote a song about a rooster that has lived in my house now.
The rooster or the song?
The song.
Okay.
That's a
I
valid question.
It is valid because you have.
I do have
the
roosters.
rooster
I thought-
is outside that.
I know. I thought you wrote the musical about your personal.
My son, I don't know at what point, but it became a thing where we would talk about something and then all of us would go and separately churn through things, sing something or try to get wordplay, whatever. Like Alan wrote the duck song, and then I went home and was like, "Oh, pondering is really sweet for a duck. I want to put that in there somewhere." And I would sing it to my son because at the time he was very little. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was very, very little, and I would sing things and rock him to sleep and think about how things sound, and then I would record them with the sound of the white noise in the back, trying to send it to them. And then at one point, I guess trying to come up with the ending lyrics to her song, or we were trying to hash out how the chorus or something broke down.
Yeah.
I would sing it to him, and now at night, I sing this song probably like 30 times a day because every time he's being wild, you know, like now it's like 6 months later or whatever, and every time he's being wild, I go, I'm tired, and he slams onto the bed, and you're like, all right.
That's a sleepy
Sounds
song.
good. We went to the zoo, right? And
We
he was
did.
being crazy, and I
Yeah.
started singing it, and she went, oh
Well,
my
he wasn't being
gosh.
crazy. That line was crazy.
I
We
know.
didn't even get into the zoo. Let me just say this, okay?
Zoo rant.
It's fine. It's a good plug for the zoo too.
Yeah.
Not necessarily,
Go to
but
the zoo. Not on the day that we went, but go to the zoo.
Yeah.
He was just overstimulated. I started singing that, and he laid his head on my shoulder, and she went, oh, I thought you were joking. I was like, no.
you start doing
I
that in
can't.
class
Yeah.
to calm kids down. That'd be great.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it.
But we're still in the process of writing it because, again, like the
Yeah.
spring is the spring.
Kind of each animal gets a song, so we only
Yeah.
have a couple left, but
Right.
We
What's-
actually have banged out pretty much all of it.
Do you have a name for the show?
We just keep calling it the Duck Musical. We don't. Oh, we said the Musical.
The Musical.
But I don't know if
okay.
that's actually copyrighted, so we have to check.
Well, I'll Google it right now.
Okay, but I thought we found one that was close.
What if you just called
I
it
don't
the
care.
Star? The Stars.
The Stars
Musical?
musical? Okay,
Yes.
then yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people like animals and musicals for kids.
I think
Yes.
it's totally age appropriate for first grade. It also talks about like
No, I think it's
What,
great.
the musical?
Yeah.
a kid came up with
I
that.
thought.
Was it Naomi?
Probably.
That sounds like
Shout
that.
out Naomi.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't see anything about musical on the
Perfect.
internet.
Okay, it is the musical.
Awesome.
Yeah, the main plot of the thing is that this little duck bebops around this farm, and he's like just a duck. And sometimes when you are you take for granted things that are very special. Like a cat cannot get in the water to eat a fish because cat hates water and it messes up their fur and they just feel gross. But a duck can just sit in a pond and
Yeah.
has water resistant wings, and that's something that you would take for granted, which I think not necessarily a first grader, but a lot of these kids have gifts that they don't see as gifts anymore because they're innate
Yeah.
to them.
Or
That's
just
a good-
haven't seen ever.
Yeah,
That's
it's
good.
been pointed out to them that they are special for any reason,
Sure.
and we're not special for the same reasons, which is why Rebecca and Alan are really valuable for songwriting and teaching music,
Uh-huh.
and Caitlin's very valuable for directing and saying that's not a good musical just because you want to hear those songs. Just because you really love that does not mean it's a good time for that.
I did say that.
Plenty of times.
I'm sorry.
Plenty of
You
times.
needed to have
We all
You
need
gotta have
somebody
that
in our life to
balance,
say
you
no.
know?
So yeah, it's important to have people to say no in your life.
I mean, we don't appreciate
Sometimes.
that.
We all got
Yeah.
our gifts.
Cool. Well, Miss Foster did not show up because she hates anything related to talking.
She said
to-
no thank you.
I'm sorry.
We have not talked about concerts either,
Okay.
which I don't know if you want to do a plug for concerts.
No, we can do that. I just wanted to point out that our kids do build all the sets and do all the costumes and everything. So that's a big part of
Led by
Stars
her.
too. Yeah.
Yes.
And she tackles all that and gets it done. So
Which we're saying in like a 10-second blurb, but truly puts,
Yeah.
it requires as much, if not more,
Oh
time
yeah,
than
because
everything
you guys
else.
more or less, you're like, hey, we want to do this show. Can you do the set? And she's like,
Well, and it comes
Yeah.
to a point too where you're like, man, the set pieces aren't done yet,
Yeah.
and it's because she lets kids design things
yes,
too,
and build, 'cause-
which
yeah.
takes a whole lot of confidence. And I mean that in the most endearing
Yeah.
because a lot of people would just say, and I've worked with people as a child and an adult that are
Yeah.
just like, no, get out of the way, I've got to do it.
Yeah.
And there are
She
times
doesn't.
where that happens,
I
but
know,
like
I've
she
been out
really
there with her. Yeah, and it's not just building. We have to teach the kids how to use power
safety,
tools
Right.
safely and
painting.
Yeah,
It never fails that the weekend before a show, she is here.
on the whole weekend.
The whole
Yeah.
weekend, because she truly gives them as many opportunities as possible to do the thing
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
She waits until they run out of time, not until they don't complete it.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
usually they are really working.
They're pretty close
Yeah.
to being done most of
Yeah.
the
But I mean, we do all of this during their elective time too, so that's a
Right.
45-minute block. By the time you gather middle schoolers who are not inherently
You really
quick
get
to
30
get to
minutes,
class, and get out to where you need to work
Yeah.
and get the things out that you need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or are combating because it's been pouring down rain.
Right, yeah,
Right.
that too.
Right.
yeah. It's important to point out as well that they're the ones backstage running things too.
Yeah, and not even the set, but just
Yeah.
the costumes. As someone who's like not really been involved in theater, I mean, I've been on music, but not theater. Like my whole life, just realizing every single detail of every single thing that you see
Yeah.
on stage. That is a 10-person job, and she
Oh,
manages
yeah.
it so well.
And we have kids in the sound booth running sound.
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
lights.
Which hopefully
Yeah.
this year, because of that 5th and 6th grade tech booth class,
Right.
they will be designing the lights. Because normally Jess or I will.
You set them up and then they.
Yeah, they get to run, which is essentially hitting a button.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping that we've had some kids that have done it now for a little bit, that they will at least be able to
Yeah.
make a design that even if they can't code yet, we can put up.
Yeah.
And that's even more that they're doing than
Well,
we're doing.
it's cool for the kids that don't ever want to be on stage,
Mm-hmm.
which I was one of those kids. My son's one of those kids that they still can be active
Yeah.
and involved.
And
So-
those are real jobs.
Yeah.
Those are real deal jobs. Like if you can mix sound right,
Oh yeah, we pay a
That
lot
is
of
a-
money.
that is a job.
We pay a lot of money for people to do it professionally.
Yeah.
for
You
sure.
experience it all the time. You just don't realize it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Cool. So we do have concerts this year, right?
We do,
Would you
yeah.
like to discuss those?
Sure, if you can help me with dates, if
I
you don't mind.
can.
Yes, so we have in the recent years started doing a winter and a spring concert. And that includes at some point pretty much everyone. I think this year we're in particular kindergarten and third grade and up, just the way that the schedules and everything have worked out this year. But let me see, I'm just going to read off. Kindergarten holiday program is December 7th at Pinecrest High School. The winter concert, which is 5th through high school, is December 7th at Pinecrest High School, so those will be just one after the other.
Right.
And then our spring concert is everyone third grade through high school. And the reason we include our third graders is because they have a legitimate ensemble. They're doing their recorders, and that's what they spend all day doing with you.
Yeah.
All day.
Yep.
When they're here
Right.
doing that with you. So they're really learning
Yeah.
skills and music that will be completely transferable as they pick instruments if they choose to continue with instruments with their electives. And of course, fourth grade all plays their violins. Last year, I was so proud. I'm sure I'm going to be proud this year too. But last year was I just felt super successful as a teacher because they went up and they played their songs so well.
They did.
Speaking
Yeah.
of cool chicken
Oh
songs.
my goodness.
I
Speaking
love
of cool chicken
on,
songs.
Is it chicken on a fence post?
Chicken on a fence
I love
post.
that
The
song.
best rhythm
Oh,
ever.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So cute.
That is great at such an early age. They get to experience like practicing and preparing and then presenting,
Yeah.
even if they're terrified.
Yeah, it's so
So-
good. And it just kind of puts you in the middle of a bigger picture that you probably didn't realize was happening before,
Sure.
So that's good too. And then fifth grade and up is just if you choose to be in the performance
In the
elective.
electives.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to speak on band or anything at all, or guitars?
Yeah, the
they're
guitars, they
included
do
in those.
participate
Yeah,
in
yeah.
our performances. And band, we have 2 different bands, 5, 6, and 7, 8.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be a part of those concerts.
Yeah.
you know,
I always like holiday. I just like the
Holiday.
songs.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
we do. So always fun. So
And you'll have your guitar group.
I
as
will.
well.
Yeah. The guitar 1 and guitar 2 they'll be doing something. We'll see what it is. But
And is guitar 2 a second semester?
yeah, that's the ones that have already taken
Okay,
guitar.
okay.
Yeah.
So 5th and 6th grade guitar 2 is full year. You have guitar 2 second semester.
Yeah.
So you'll have kids who already took guitar in 7th and 8th grade second semester. Yeah, it's just the way that it worked out
Okay.
this year.
Yeah.
We tried to level it because last year we found that just keeping them all together, like some kids weren't able to progress the way they
Right.
needed to. And
Right.
Yeah,
some
because
were
they had to wait
lost.
around while we were still
Yeah.
learning
Sure,
basics.
sure.
And, yeah.
You
so.
you do it, you learn, you
Yeah.
do better.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. So, well, that was a lot.
I know Foster goes, "Are you still in there?" And I was like, "I'm sorry."
It was a lot, but like we covered a lot. There's a lot that
There's a
goes
lot
on.
of pieces.
Yeah, well,
we
it
do more
starts for-
shows and things here than pretty much anywhere I could think of.
Anywhere.
Yeah, it's an
around here,
insane
I'm sure,
amount
yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I was talking to, I went to the grade level meetings this morning, and I was telling them about like what we actually do when we go there.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the in general people understand what we're asking these kids to do
Yeah.
and how it is not a normal theater experience.
So I didn't
It's
know what
incredible,
Tech Week
yeah.
was.
Right.
like,
Well,
when
and
I
that's
was
the
just a
thing,
teacher, I
right?
was
You're
like,
saying Tech
yeah,
Week
yeah.
because usually in any other theater capacity,
Yeah.
you do Tech for an entire week. Our Tech Week
It's
is
like 2
Monday
days.
morning.
Yeah.
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 And then we run the kids through it as fast as we can, and then we start doing stuff on stage.
Right.
The fact that we rehearse in a separate location from where we present is,
Not ideal.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's really what touring, traveling shows do as adult performers.
Which is, again, honestly, you could see it as an inconvenience, but that is
It's a
really,
skill.
that is a very
There's a big
important
difference
thing.
between practicing in the Renaissance room or the multi-purpose room and then going over to VPAC and actually having.
It requires a lot of like
backstage
and
mental
side
flexibility
stage,
too
Yeah.
for them to be able to turn. A
It
lot
does.
of times you're literally reorienting your blocking, and that
Well,
can be very
And
challenging.
not only that, but in between, they're like working on classwork,
Mm-hmm.
homework, and yeah.
Because since we do everything during the school day, which is wonderful, when they are there for rehearsals,
Yeah.
they're missing classwork. So they're trying to keep up with their academics on top
Yeah,
of what
it's
they're
another
doing.
just aspect of their life that they're learning to be responsible in. So
Right. I mean, and thankfully our teachers are at the school because they understand what kind of school it is for the most part. And so they do
Yeah.
try to
Yeah.
accommodate that. It's not like a general public school where they're like, you missed all of this. Here
Yeah.
you go.
I would
You know?
for sure welcome anybody who is unfamiliar or potentially seeing that as an inconvenience to come talk to me. Because
Yeah.
and I mean that again in like a super polite way.
well, if they're like me, when I came to Stars, I had no theater background at all, so I didn't understand any.
Yeah,
what
and it's
was
one of
going
those
on.
things where information falls through the cracks because something that I consider to be
Yeah.
second nature
Yeah.
is totally bizarre to someone else. So if it's novel to you, you
Right.
should come ask about it because some of these kids like are going to not be successful in your class because that's not where they shine.
Right.
And
Right.
laying into them about that might not be the way to help them, and taking away something that is their moment to feel special and
Yeah.
important and gifted is not going to help them.
I
Yeah.
just had that conversation this week.
I think it helps understand too when it gets close to show that they're under a lot of stress too.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that. We used to have more closer to the end of the year, and we would have kids that were really stressed with that. Geez, there's just a lot going on.
I mean, and that's been a lot of my job is
Yeah.
alleviating
Yeah,
some
I
of
think
that
that's-
stress,
I think
moving
that's
the
helped a
musicals
lot,
around,
yeah.
trying to find a space where they're not feeling all of that pressure at
Yeah.
once.
But yeah, and learning how to deal with that in a positive way, I
Right.
think, is a good life skill. as
Yeah,
well.
they're gonna have high expectations for themselves, like we have high expectations for them. That's not us, like berating them to be good. That's
They
them
want to
wanting
do
to be
well.
good
Yeah.
for their team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there also is a big payoff. I mean, it is stress,
Yeah.
but the payoff is incredible.
Yeah, they cry
just
when
as
the
a
shows are
person.
Oh, yeah.
They
yeah.
wouldn't keep coming back if they didn't love
Well,
it.
if you ever
Yeah.
volunteer backstage, you
Mhm.
you get to see the whole process, and you have an appreciation for it, and you see the kids backstage, and you
When
realize
you're just
why
proud
they
of your
do
work.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen in recent years, generally speaking, from the world. People, just out
Yeah.
and about are not
Yeah.
taking pride in their work, and it's cool to see people who are coming
Kids.
up in the world doing
Children.
that. So
Yeah.
it's
Well,
nice.
I think that's
Sorry,
pretty.
you have a lot of editing. to
No,
do.
I'm just gonna let it go. I'm not
I didn't
editing.
sing. I didn't say a
Please edit
single
something.
swear.
I will edit out. No, thank you guys, and hopefully that helped you guys to get to know the theater team a little more. And we'll get around to the rest of the art department and teachers later this year. So, thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Stars Podcast. Until next time, have a great day.